Welcome to Mr. UFC Vegas Fight Club TV. I am Kyle, your host. Welcome to the podcast. And this is going to be something we're going to be doing, I think, a good amount of times. We're really going to start a new segment here. An early look at some of these lines, some big fights that are going to be coming up, maybe some spots to place our money, maybe some spots where the line hasn't changed yet, where before the public or any of the sharks got into there and put their money down to shift the line. Maybe it's a spot that we can jump on early. So gonna look first at Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jedrzejczyk, who will be fighting for the title at UFC 223, and that is April 7th in Brooklyn, New York. So we will be going over that and just kind of taking a look at where we're going to maybe place our money. But before we get into that, I want to say, if you have not subscribed, liked, commented on this channel, we're going to be doing many of these types of videos. If you like UFC, gambling, and being entertained, Fight Club TV is the place for you. So I suggest you subscribe. So, Rose and Joanna. What a fight. First fight, and for those of you that do not know, I attended UFC 217 in MSG. Great fight. I mean, they still say right now that is possibly top 5, top 3 cards ever for the UFC. Unbelievable night of fights. Great time. I went with my wife. Great card. I mean, you had TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt. They're fighting for the title. Tons of bad blood going on in that fight. They really had issues, those two guys going into that fight. Cody talking about knocking him out early, and TJ, just in that first round, TJ gets dropped. It looked like it was a possibility it was going to be ended. Then it came back, and TJ ended up dropping him and ending the fight. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And then you got Joanna. She loses to Rose. And then you've got Bisping. He loses his title to GSP. I mean, each one of those fights, every time somebody won, I mean, people were throwing drinks in the air, celebrating. I mean, the energy in that place was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I've been to UFC events all around. I've been to Vegas, obviously. I've been to Prudential, MSG, been to a couple. There's going to be one in Lake City I may go to. There's so many that are out there that I've been to. That was by far the best one I have ever been to. And again, the energy was amazing. I know they're trying to do one in New York a year and have a really nice event there. So I'm sure each year they're going to be doing something great. That was my first time at MSG for a UFC event, and it was just unbelievable. I highly suggest going to the next one because I'm sure they're always going to put a good card on, but the energy in New York is just unbelievable. So that fight, obviously, Joanna was finished in that fight. Rose did an unbelievable job. That fight, the odds were, I was about minus 350, minus 400, depending where you're placing your money. For Joanna, Rose was, plus the other way, around plus, 300, 350. So huge favorite for Rose. This one now, as we're looking out, a couple weeks here, Rose is plus 133. And Joanna is minus 153. So it's interesting first, and I do this a lot when there's some great fights out there that you can get, whatever book hopefully the book that you gamble at actually puts these lines out early. Some of them they do wait, 2 weeks, a week ahead of time to kind of, slow down the money that's coming in. So I highly suggest also looking for a book that does take bets early. Some of them don't. But here, I like to find spots. Right away, I like to look at what does Vegas think, who's going to win. That's what I like to look at first. Who are they giving a slight edge to before any money starts hitting the books, starts changing the line, starts manipulating a little bit, before the sharks start coming in the public, the person who they're just a fan, they're just throwing money down. Before all of that happens and changes the line, I like to take a look at it. So right now they're giving the slight edge to Joanna. Rightfully so. I mean, she's, was a dominant champion when she was. She's 14-1 now. Rose is 7-3, but also fought some top-level opponents. And each of them have fought top-level opponents. I mean, there's no doubt that they each have fought really good fighters throughout their career. it's just amazing to me that Rose is 25 years old, and she is just only getting better. You know, she's 25, Joanna is 30, not like she's old, but it just shows the growth of where Rose can go in her career. She really has an opportunity to just have a very, very successful career, and for her to beat a dominant champion in Joanna, who again the UFC was backing. That's interesting to see, you know, her get that victory, and how will she come back from that? Now, if we dial it back to UFC 217, there was a lot of trash talk between these two, and maybe I wouldn't say between these two. Maybe it's more Joanna to Rose than Rose to Joanna, because Joanna, you know, really was laying it on thick. Really up in her head. I've never seen her. She actually turned out to be at a point, you know, she came into UFC and people didn't really like her. You know, she kind of had that. And then it all sudden, to be honest with you, I really feel like the community, the UFC community, has really taken her on as she's got a great personality. She seems very down to earth. She's not not always in character, I should say, where she's always got to. She just is. She, in all interviews I've seen with her, she just seems a very down to earth person. And then in this fight, she really changed her attitude. I feel like she really tried to, when she yelled out, you know, the boogie woman's coming, you know, that really bit her in the ass. You know, she was starting to really try to get in her head. I thought it was very odd situation for her with Rose, who doesn't talk, but I guess then Pat Barry, her fiance husband, said something about one of Joanna's assistants, or something to that effect happened, where there was more trash talk, which really pushed this fight, and made it even more, where Rose seems even more down to earth and quiet, and Joanna, you know, just really laid it on thick. So with that, I think also comes where the money's going to go. I think a lot of times people change their opinion of a fighter just by the talk, and just by, oh well, man, this person really seems like they're going to win. They're really talking a lot of trash, and then they're betting that way because they just say, hey, the person seems like they want it. They're not looking at statistics. They're not looking at past fights. They're not looking at really what's going on with their skill set and how technical they are. They're not looking at that stuff. So it's interesting to see, again, that's going to change the line, because for me and for you and all of us people that gamble and bet on these fights, that eats into your profit. And like I had said in I believe it was the past video, that someone was asking, you know, would you bet at fight, on Vieira at minus 220, and some people are getting at minus 150. Some people got at minus 120 early. So to me, all that does is eat into your profit. So if you can jump on a line where you feel really good about a fighter, obviously I don't always bet out this far, but when I know that there's going to be a lot of action on a particular fight, I like to take a look at it early, because I believe there's going to be a lot of movement. We are going to, please don't think we're not, we are going to do a video next week for UFC Fight Night 127. So we'll get into that whole card and where we're looking to place our money. But I like to start out now with doing these early lines and kind of taking a look at everything. But back to that. But with that, when you start to talk about where the money's going to go and where the trash talk begins and what happens to the line when that all starts to happen. So that's really, I mean, we could do the Conor McGregor Mayweather, maybe the best case scenario of what I'm talking about. That's maybe to the extreme, but the more Conor talked, the more he sold that fight, the more he was coming up with these hilariously witty lines. The line kept moving into his favor. His skill set didn't change. He wasn't a better fighter. It's just he sold the shit out of that fight and really made it even more bigger than it was. And Mayweather jokingly said, I don't even have to even talk because he's hyping this for both of us, And it just, again, that all is going to matter, because the more that kind of stuff happens is going to change the line and may go in your favor or may not go in your favor. So that's kind of this is really what we're looking at. So, if we look now at Joanna, I mean, she has fought some great fighters within the UFC. I mean, she's fought Andrade, who we just saw what Andrade is. I mean, she's an absolute animal. I would like to see her fight for the title again. Carolina, she fought Gedalia, she fought Esparza, she fought Adelia again, Juliana Lima. I mean, she's fought the who's who of this division. So that's very interesting to see where that's where that's all going to transpire with who they fought and the experience that comes with that. So if we go to, if I could change this, Rose also has seen a lot of top level talent at 25 years old. I mean, it's Joanna, obviously, Waterson, who she choked out. She had a split decision loss against Carolina. Tisha Torres, she beat Paige Van Zandt, Angela Hill, Esparza also. She lost to Tisha Torres prior to that. I mean, so she has fought some great fighters. So Rose is very well-rounded, and if I had to sit here right now, out of the gate and say, who do I believe can win this fight this far out without fully diving into the information and the statistics, I like Joanna. I think that she was not focused in this fight. I think she was talking about, moving to a different division and looking at other fights and who else she could face and really was not herself. And I think she's going to be a lot more focused in this fight, and she knows that she can't lose this fight. She cannot lose this fight. If she loses against Rose, she's going to have to go to another division, or she's going to have to change up her entire career path, because if she loses again and Rose wins another fight, or, and obviously we all know how that goes. If you lose to a champion twice, your road back is going to be extremely difficult. I mean, ask Wonderboy Thompson. I mean, he goes in, he fights Woodley twice. Where is his career path? Where can he go now at this point when, he's an excellent fighter, but he has to now almost basically go to the back of the line, beat some top guys to earn that spot again. And that could take, if you're talking 3 fights, that could be a 2-year span, year and a half, if all goes well within that span. You lose 1 fight of those next 3, that sends you back even more. So the path changes a lot. Rose and Rose now obviously a champion, but Joanna has to win this fight. It's so critical to her. It's so important to her career than just she needs it's the title. It's just what happens when she loses. When she wins, obviously if she does win, she fights Rose again. Probably, I'm not sure. Maybe not, because if she didn't defend it yet and it was only back, maybe not. I'm not really sure how that works out. But if she wins, she gets the title back. That's huge for her, and now she can move on with her career, whether she does fight Rose or somebody else. But 2 losses to the same champion in a very short period of time is the kiss of death. Basically the kiss of death. So I think even more that's going to just really, really focus Joanna into this fight. And I think a lot of money, the closer this gets to fight week, I could see Joanna minus 225. I could see money going on that way. I could see Rose getting to the 150, 175 range as well once money starts changing hands there. So I think if that's the way that we're gonna go, I do like looking at this line, and I will be keeping an eye on it over the next couple of weeks, where the money's going to start to head, where the money's going to start to go, is it going to start to go up? Maybe not much action now, but I really feel like late money or money of fight week is going to go on Joanna because of the fact it's not a huge odds. And most of her odds have been extremely high. So you're getting her at a very good value. You're getting her at a very, very good value at minus 150 for a dominant champion. Very interesting. I do like to place the money out this far, but we'll kind of see where we want to go with it as it gets closer. Like I said again, we are going to do many more of these early looks. I'd like to do another one this week with Khabib and Tony. Get that out there as well. Get some conversation going. Also interesting odds too that are actually out there now for that fight. So there you have it. Joanna at minus 153. Rose at plus 133 for the title at UFC 223. And, like, subscribe. If you haven't already, get involved. And this is Mr. UFC Vegas, Fight Club TV, and I'm Kyle signing out. See you next time.